This is Susan Lorincz. On June 2, 2023, in a neighborhood in Ocala, Florida, she killed her neighbor after a dispute revolving her neighbor's children playing near her home escalated into tragedy. The incident was the culmination of a 2-year feud between Lorincz and the family. Earlier that day, Lorincz had allegedly yelled at children playing what she deemed too close to her home and thrown a roller skate at them. One of these children told their mother, Ajike Owens, about the incident. Later that evening, Ajike Owens went to Lorinc's apartment to confront her about her behavior towards the children. According to witnesses, Owens knocked on Lorinc's door, demanding that she come out and explain herself. What happened next is at the heart of this case. Lorincz, inside her apartment, fired a single shot through the closed front door. That bullet struck Ajike Owens, killing the 35-year-old mother of 4.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I was sitting here because I was freezing.
Oh, it is chilly in here, isn't it? Susan?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Detective Stitt. This is Detective Peterson.
Okay.
Can we just get you, slide that chair back over here just a moment? I'm sorry to keep you waiting so long. Just had a lot, we had to sort through before we could come and talk to you. So again, I'm Detective Stitt. I'm an investigator here with the Sheriff's Office. Could you give me your, spell your name for me? Is it Susan?
Susan, S-U-S-A-N.
So, do you know reason why we're...
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So, did the deputies like put handcuffs on you or anything with it? Because there's a lot of things going on and we're trying to sort through the moving pieces to try to figure out what happened. Mm-hmm. So, naturally, they want to secure
Understood.
the scene in that under that circumstance, and then to handcuff you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working this investigation, and at this point you're not free to leave. So I have to make you aware of your rights, okay, before we talk. So I have to read this to you. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to execute these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand each of those rights I've explained to you?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason I'm trying to clarify all the events that happened tonight, and to try to, because really I only have, statements from people that were out there, and I would like to get your side of things and try to understand what exactly happened tonight. Or last night now, I guess it is.
Good gravy. Basically, the neighbors were out there screaming, yelling. The kids were running back and forth. I had a miserable headache. Went inside, laid down. They finally got quiet. I came outside, and the 3 boys were there. I'm like, guys, you're trespassing. Come on, out of here. And he's like, I want this, and I want that, and fuck you, and fuck this. I'm like, oh, okay, little big kids, because they're all really young. And
so you say you came out and they were...
I wanted to check my truck. Every time I had my truck on one side, the kids would throw the balls and hit the truck.
Okay.
So I moved the truck to the other side, then they moved themselves to the other side, and they keep just,
just antagonizing you.
Oh, God,
yeah.
Horribly.
Okay, so when you said that you came outside and they were there, the 3 boys were there, where were they at?
Right in front of, that little cove. That's
like
there.
the privacy fence?
They were right there.
Okay.
Right in front.
Inside the privacy fence, like on your patio or
no,
outside?
They were just right outside.
Okay.
And I'm like, guys, come on, leave. Because I wanted to check the truck and everything. And then they were like, I'm going to tell my mom. I'm like, go tell your mom. I don't care, And
have you had problems with them before?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. And they've been harassing me last week. They came up they were actually in the vestibule area. And they were like, wake up, wake up. I was watching TV. I'm like, really, seriously? Because, after a nice long shift, that's just when I want to hear these little run.
How long have you lived there?
3 years.
3 years? Okay. And how long have you been having problems with them?
Like 2 years.
2 years?
Ever since she moved.
Is it just those same 3, or do you have problems with any? Does anyone else give you problems?
They want to play on that part where Charles Owens and the other part. And I'm like, guys, come on.
Which part is that? I'm not sure. I don't know who Charles is.
Charles is the landlord. So there's, one of the cops came out and said, oh, it's an open lot. It's not an open lot. It's an abutment of 2 properties. I'm like, guys, come on. Give me some peace. you know, because in my apartment, there's sliding glass doors, and then I have the 2 bedrooms up front, and because it's an open concept, just you can hear everything.
Sounds travel
And
right
it's
through.
horrible, and you know, and I'm like, go play on the other side. We don't want to play on the other side, we want to play over here. I'm like, oh, good gravy, you know, and so they just, every time they see me, they get together and scream and yell.
They live in the same building?
No, none of them live there. I was going to say, one set of kids lives there, but the other sits on the other side. They go play on your side of the road, you know? Come on.
Okay, so they were being obnoxious out there tonight,
Oh,
and they finally got quiet, but then you go outside and the 3 of them are out there?
Yeah, and I didn't want to go any further because he's like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, what in the world?
Who said that?
Ajike's kids. They're
Okay,
like,
so who was it?
Ajike, I think her name is.
Okay.
She actually had thrown a sign at me before. She picked up the no trespassing sign and just threw it at me. She's like, here, take your fucking sign. I'm like, it's not mine, it's Charles. You know, he doesn't want you guys here. So it's just, you know, she's been in my mailboxes. She sends the kids in the mailboxes.
When did she throw a sign at you?
I want to say last year, just after I had my neck fused. I'm like, oh, good gravy.
What kind of sign? Like one of the ones you buy at the store, like a plastic, like on the
It was a
fence?
metal sign with a little metal, like a real estate sign. But it had no trespassing, so it was about that by that. And yeah.
Is it the same one that was out there tonight,
No,
or is it different? Okay.
They stole that sign.
Susan Lorinc's account of the ongoing neighborhood disputes reveals a complex situation that had been escalating over time. While the interrogation gives us Lorinc's perspective, it's crucial to consider this information critically. Lorinc's complaints about the children's activities paint a picture of a neighborhood where boundaries, both physical and social, were a source of constant friction. In many apartment communities, especially those with limited dedicated play areas, it's common to see children using parking lots or other shared spaces for recreation. While this can be disruptive for some residents, it's often a reality of communal living where green spaces are limited. Frustrated by this situation, Lorincz took matters into her own hands. She took the unusual step of putting up her own no trespassing signs in what were actually communal areas of the apartment complex. To get a clearer picture of the dynamics at play, let's turn to some body camera footage from previous police interactions in the neighborhood. This video provides additional context and perspective on the ongoing disputes Lorincz described.
They need to be trespassed the hell out of here.
So what I'm looking at, where they're at, you can't trespass anybody from that location. The issue is that the parking lot is a common area.
Can I talk to you for a second? Where you get done? He's
Yeah.
trespassing
I'll get over here in just a
right
second.
now. He's trespassing.
You came over to come ask us a question.
I was trying to reason with her one day because we were all playing here. You know, the kids, everything jumped. All right, let's go. And she's like, hey, you know what? One day you guys are gonna die. And I'm like, and that's when I like, whoa. And apparently they're gonna match tip. Hey,
Getting too much feedback on the phone from the dog. Can you please go someplace where he's not barking? Please, I'm getting too much feedback. I can't hear myself. Go up. Captain.
It's a dog. You can't stop the dog from barking.
Yeah, but too much feedback. Can you please at least go
So,
someplace where I'm not getting
yeah, that's, I mean, that's,
All right, well, you have a good one. Apparently we can't stand here and have a conversation.
So what happened tonight that led to the conclusion that...
Well,
that
I'm like, kids, go home. So they go home, and then all of a sudden she comes out, and she is just banging on my door. I'm like, go away. I'm not dealing with you tonight. And then she started banging so hard, everything started shaking. And I'm like, you really need to leave. And then I'm gonna fucking kill you. And she's just banging away. You know, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And since she has actually harmed me, I'm like, it just keeps getting worse and worse. I'm like, I don't know what to do with her. And she banged so hard, it looked like my door was gonna fly off. And I panicked. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's really gonna kill me this time, you know? And so I don't even actually remember picking up the gun. I just remember shooting.
Where do you keep the gun usually?
It's in my bedroom.
That's where you keep it? Like
keep
in a cabinet or something, or just like...
It's just, I actually keep it in the trash can.
Okay.
Next to the bed.
Nobody would look in there probably, right?
You know, and I didn't think about it, and I'm like, oh my God, and I just started panicking, and I really feared for my life. I mean, honest to God, I was like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm a nervous wreck. You know, I'm not supposed to be getting nervous or anything like this because I have an aneurysm on my left kidney artery. And so they're like, just you're supposed to stay calm, you're not supposed to do anything. And this woman just keeps antagonizing me. She's got the kids calling me. I go out there, they're like, hey, Karen. I'm like, I have a doctoral degree. Do not talk to me like I am one of your peers.
So they don't really have any respect.
No respect.
Yeah. So AJ, she came to your door.
Oh yeah.
And she was
pounding on it. I was like, what the hell? My cats went flinging.
What was she saying? Was she saying anything?
You don't talk to my sons. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, you know. And I was like in tears. I'm like shaking, and I'm like, oh my God. And I thought she had gone away, and then she starts banging again. I'm like, oh shit.
Did she like try to come inside?
She was trying as hard as she could.
What do you mean?
That door was moving. And I'm like, holy shit. You know,
like, did she try the door handle, or was she just beating on it to try to push it in, or what?
She was just, you know, just trying to push it in, and I was like, oh my God.
Now, you had initially called,
because it was,
did you call 911, or
yeah,
did you use the non-emergency number when you called?
When the first time, because kids said, I'm going to kill you, and my friends kill you, I'm like, oh my God, you know, what the hell's going on now? You know, I'm like, I don't need this aggravation.
Okay. So you called, was it 911?
Yeah, I called 911.
Okay. And that was before AJ came over?
Before
Okay.
she came over.
And the kid, okay, so we get, like, as the deputies are responding, the call taker's talking to you, they're putting information that you're telling them into the computer, which goes to us as we're going out there. So on that call notes, there's never any mention of you saying that they said that they're going to kill you. It was more or less that they're harassing you, that
Oh no, I told the lady that they said they were going to kill me.
Okay.
No, I was very specific when I spoke.
Okay. Now, did you see who was out there at that time?
I just knew it was Ajike by her voice. She's screamed at me before, you know, and I'm like, oh, great, it's her again, you know. And I just, like I said, I just panicked, and I just got so frightened. I was like, oh my God, she's really going to do it this time. She's going to kill me.
Were you still on the phone with 911 when you fired the gun?
No. I thought that the kids went, and I was like, all right, I'll go check my truck in the morning. I didn't even leave, you know, I just went back in the house and locked the doors.
So, but you had already contacted 911.
Yeah.
Did they advise you that someone was responding,
Yes,
an officer was responding?
They said someone's coming out, and they said lock the doors, you know, make sure you don't go outside. I'm like, okay, you know, usual.
Okay. And where were you at when she was pounding on the door? Were you?
I was actually in the bathroom.
You were in the bathroom. I haven't been inside, so how does it, like, when you go in through the front door?
It's all open.
Okay.
So you can see kind of the bathroom right from the front door.
Okay.
So.
And you were still able to hear her?
Oh,
she
oh
was
my
able
God,
to hear
yes.
you, that you know, as far as you know?
I don't know if she was able to hear me. I mean, she was just screaming for all she was worth. I'm like, stop, you know, and just, she wouldn't stop. And I'm just like, oh dear God.
What else was she saying besides what you've told me? Was she saying anything else?
She was just, some of it was unintelligible.
Okay.
So she was just ranting.
So I noticed there's, you have a couple cameras in the house?
Yes.
Okay. And are those like Ring cameras or Arlo
They're
or?
Blink.
Blink? Okay.
Then I have the one at the door. But when it gets dark out, they don't pick up anything, which sucks.
Do they record sound though? Or
I
like,
have no
is it
idea.
all motion where it only records when it captures motion?
Yeah, when it captures motion.
Okay. But those are working cameras?
I don't know if the door bell picked anything up. You can look at it and stuff.
Is that through your phone that you were able to review that, or computer, or how do you, through your phone? Okay.
But I don't think it picked it up because I didn't get a ding.
Okay. So, but prior to her coming over there and banging on your door, because we talked to a lot of people that were out there at the time, and there was some statements given to us that you had taken a tablet or picked up a tablet that was on the ground?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
That child, like the other day, he said to me, I'm going to go tell my mom that you called me a slave. I'm like, what? He came over with a rake, and he was pounding everything with the rake. I'm like, really, seriously? So I don't know what's going on with that child.
Mhm.
So I.
And which child is that you're talking about?
It's on the video. If you give me my phone, I'll show you which child it is. I don't know by names.
Is it one of the older ones?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the deal with the roller skate? Because again, we talked to a lot of people who were outside and kind of witnessed some of
They
this.
keep leaving all their toys around. The other day, I almost killed myself going out. I had an early morning doctor's appointment, and I didn't see the roller skate, and I almost killed myself. And I'm like, guys, stop already. This is not your garbage yard.
Mhm.
And the kid's got his roller skates there, and I'm like, really, take your roller skates. And I threw the roller skates. I'm like, go fetch them. Just enough. Because.
Did you throw that at them?
Oh,
or?
God, no.
Okay.
No, I
And
just.
what is the thing about the umbrella? You have an umbrella?
I thought it was raining before, and I walked out and it wasn't raining. I'm like, okay. So.
Okay. And you like swung it at them or so, or one of them?
I wasn't even close. I was still inside the vestibule. So.
How can we explain that then with people saying, like multiple people that weren't like talking to each other, that if they were saying that's what they saw?
I don't know. Maybe I did step out and I'm like, guys, go away, but I would never touch them.
Okay. Maybe like swat at them with it, but not.
Exactly.
Okay.
If I did it was probably because I was just so, like, come on.
But I know, at least say if you did, but is that what happened? I mean, we gotta kind of get specific about this because it's a big deal.
I understand.
Someone's dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So that's why I say it's important to be specific and honest about everything. Okay. And I know from what it sounds like, I talked to several people out there, and it seems like this has been an ongoing thing where the harassment continues and just being obnoxious and don't have respect for their neighbors and just doing whatever they want, and it builds and it builds and it builds until you can't take it anymore. And unfortunately, it's led to this event.
It was only because she was pounding at my door, and I, honest to God, thought she was going to come in.
Okay. So we have, over in our communication center, they're putting together, because all the calls that come into 911 are audio recorded, and there were several people even before. So there's open lines, we're recording and getting audio of exactly what's being said, not to mention if your camera has captured anything, okay? So that's why I'm like asking you before we go through that, and if something is different than what you're telling me, we need to clear that up now, because if it, you know what I mean, if the evidence shows something different than what you're saying, it doesn't look good, and I want to be open and honest with you. So
I just know that she was pounding and pounding on the door and scaring the shit out of me.
Okay, but is there any reason why, if we reviewed that evidence, she wasn't saying, "I'm going to kill you"?
That's what I heard.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I honestly got heard. It's just what I heard.
Did you ever look out the door to see? And I know you said you kind of recognized her voice. So.
I never looked out the door.
Okay.
I was afraid to get to my door, to be brutally honest. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to bust it in. And just gonna...
Where were you standing when you shot the gun? And you said you shot the gun through the door?
Yeah, through the door. I just panicked. It was probably at the kitchen table somewhere.
Okay, by the kitchen table.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times did you shoot the gun?
Once.
Just once? What kind of gun is it?
It's a Remington 380.
Is that the only firearm you have in the house?
No, there was a 22 Ruger.
Where's that one at?
I don't know. I don't know if I picked it up or not. I have no idea. Maybe the garbage can.
Okay. And after you fired the round, what did you do?
She said, ow, and I'm like, oh my God, I hit her. It just, clicked, I hit her. Oh, Jesus Christ. But I thought I just, nicked something. I never ever.
And what did you go out there?
No,
You didn't go out there?
No.
Did you call 911 back?
yes, I did call
Okay.
911.
And what did you say?
And I said, she was pounding on my door and I shot my gun. I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Okay.
And she was threatening me and she was saying, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you. So,
So it's a Remington 380?
Mhm.
Is it a revolver or a semi-automatic?
It's a pistol, I don't know, it's semi-automatic.
What color is the Remington?
Black,
Black. And that's your firearm?
yes.
Okay. So, again, we're trying to like get to, there's always two sides, right?
Mhm.
And when there's the truth is somewhere usually lying in the middle somewhere. And I'm not trying to discredit what you're telling me, and I understand your concerns about, this is your area. You want to be able to be relaxed and not have to worry about all this,
Riprap.
basically, yeah. But unfortunately, we can't get the other side from Ajike,
Ajike, I think her name
Jake.
is. It's Ajike.
right. But we can't ask her side, right? So then we have to go by other people who may have seen or heard things, videos, 911 call recordings and things like that. And again, I have no doubt that they harass you and give you problems all the time. But again, when we review all the evidence, if it's going against what you're saying, and I know you say you heard this, but up front you said that's what she said. But I mean, that it's very important to be detailed and specific and honest, because again, if the evidence doesn't match up with what you're saying, then when we take this and show this to a prosecutor who ultimately makes decisions about whether this was a justified event or not, if you're not being completely honest now, it doesn't look good, you know what I mean?
Just telling you what I know.
As we observe Susan Lorincz during her interrogation, her demeanor is notably composed. She consistently maintains that she was terrified and feared for her life when she shot Ajike Owens. This repeated emphasis on fear is crucial, as it lays the groundwork for a potential self-defense claim. However, an intriguing detail would later emerge during the trial. Prosecutors questioned Lorincz about whether she had researched Florida's self-defense laws, specifically the Stand Your Ground law, prior to the shooting. Lorincz admitted to seeing an article about it on Facebook earlier that day. While she vehemently denied researching the law with any intent to use that information, this revelation added another layer of complexity to her claims of acting purely out of fear. Further challenging Lorinc's account, detectives revealed that only 2 minutes had elapsed between Lorinc's initial 911 call about children trespassing and her second call informing dispatchers she had shot someone. This short time frame raises questions about the sequence and urgency of events, potentially undermining Lorinc's narrative of prolonged threat and fear.
Is it feasible to say that this is just got to a boiling point for you that you couldn't take it anymore? And because
No.
again, if
This was
listen, if
absolutely
this stuff
terrible.
happened in the past, I get it, but we're talking about a specific event tonight where she didn't make it a point that she was trying to come in. She was trying to get your attention to say, apparently, to stop throwing things at her kids. Whether you actually, I know, listen, kids can lie. I get it. And I'm just saying, whether that actually happened or not, that's what she believed, because that's what she was told by one of her sons. So she was coming over there to, I mean, does that ring a bell of her telling you not to be throwing things? No? What specific words do you recall that she said?
I just remember her saying, don't talk to my sons that way and I'm gonna fucking kill you. I mean, that's what I heard. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
And you're sure when you were on the phone with 911, you told them that she said that?
I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I mean, if someone was, the reason why I ask is because, like, if someone, let's say I'm not a police officer, or, right, and I'm just at my house and someone's, like, beating on my door saying, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to fucking kill you, oh my God. they're banging on my door. They're saying they're going to kill me. Like that's a very fear-provoking statement when somebody, you know, if you're in a legitimate fear that someone's going to come through your door and kill you, if you're already on the phone.
I wasn't on the phone though, I was in the bathroom when she
You
started.
were on the phone with 911?
No, I was already off the phone with 911.
Okay, so she had already maybe made that statement before you even called.
Oh, the second time?
Anytime.
I was gonna say the second time, when I called, she had already said it,
Okay.
so.
But the second time you called was after you had fired the
Yes.
gun? Okay. So,
And maybe I misunderstood it, because what my understanding was before I had to walk out of the room is that when she was knocking on your door,
It wasn't a knock.
the way
Sorry.
I understand, you said that it got worse. Like so I'm starting off with
No,
and then
she
we're
never-
gonna get
No,
harder.
she started off banging on that door. I mean, it was, you know.
But during that initial time is when you had said before that she had made the statement that, you know, she was gonna kill you.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry,
No, it's important that we learn the details, so that way as we gather and collect evidence, the details are what help us piece that together so we can see the big picture, right? I'll tell you that even as law enforcement officers, if we make a decision to, you know, use deadly force against someone, we have to sit and explain the same way with details. I did this because of this, making me feel like this, right? And an investigator from the state listens to us the same way we're listening to you, and they present that to a prosecutor the same way that we would, right? So we're just trying to understand the details of what happened from your point of view, so as we gather our evidence, we can.
understood.
does anyone else live with you, Susan?
No.
Okay. Your door is kind of like, probably not wood or whatever, but you can't really see through it. There's no
No.
windows or anything like that. And I know your sliding door is a little further over, but something that he mentioned, you know, as far as our training, when we have to go through making a judgment decision where we might have to pull the trigger, we have to know what we're firing at is a deadly threat, or what we recognize as a deadly threat. So my question is, how do you know what you're firing at when you're firing through a door that you can't see through, when you don't know if there's also a child outside standing there? Or, I mean, basically I'm asking you, what were you aiming at, and what were you intending to do when you fired that gun?
I was just fearful of my life. And I was just like, go away, go away. That's all I could think of, was just get out of the situation, you know, just go away already. And,
But when you fire through a door that's closed, was it locked?
yes, it was locked.
Okay. And, you know, you said you're in the bathroom, which I understand you said it's kind of an open floor concept in there. So it's kind of open, but I'm assuming there's walls around the bathroom. You've got a door, you can close it. I'm not saying that, I mean, you're within your right, you're in your house, you don't have to do that. But if I'm looking at a door that's secured and whether someone's banging on it or not, law enforcement's already on the way. At what point do you, you know,
The door is broken.
the door's broken?
That whole side panel, people have, she's pounded on it more than once. And he fixed it, but when everything started rattling so much, I was like, oh my God, she's gonna bust through it,
Okay.
you know?
So it's broken right now, or it was broken before and then the landlord fixed it?
He didn't, cherry rigged it. He put screws through it so that the centerpiece was supposed to stay in there, but she was pounding it so hard. I mean, everything was just rattling, and I'm like, oh my God, it sounded like a horse kick. It was so loud.
One thing that I think my partner was trying to get at, and I don't know that I actually heard an answer to the question. When you're inside the house and she's on the other side of a door that you can't see through and she's pounding on the door, you make the conscious decision to aim your gun at the door and fire one round, right? Just one round?
Yes.
Fire one round. Were you trying to hit her, or were you trying to scare her off? Were you trying to make a loud noise? to say like, hey, I got a fucking gun, get away from my door? Or were you think like,
I was never intending to hit her. I just thought, I thought I hit really high, you know, I was just like, kind of, you know, it's the first time I ever really used it, where I was, you know, like.
not on a paper target?
Exactly, it was like, oh my God, so I was shaking. I mean, I was just so distraught at that point in time. I'm like, oh my God, she's really gonna freaking come to my house. And I was just like, all I could think is go away, go away, go away, go away.
Did you mean to, were you aiming for the door?
I just fired the gun. Because all I could think of is, I felt like I was in mortal danger. I mean, it's just how I felt.
And what made you, I mean, I know someone's banging on the door, you feel like they could get in, but at that point where nobody had breached or been able to get through that secure door, what made you feel like that was the time that you needed to do that?
I usually have a chair propped up against the door at night.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't have the chair up there, and I didn't have the chain on the door either. So just the one lock was locked. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, of all the times that I never.
But before you decided to pull that trigger, you didn't think to try to put
I wasn't going near
second-
the door because she was actually physically moving the door. You know, like you could see the door moving. I'm like, oh dear God.
So the thing is, and again, I can 100% sympathize with being fed up with that kind of harassment and that kind of disrespect. But also someone lost their life last night, right? And then she has children, and as much of a pain in the butt that they can be, they're not gonna have a mother now, okay?
I understand that, and that makes me sick.
And that is, as a parent, I think is like the ultimate reason that we need complete honesty. And I think what really, your intentions were maybe not to kill her, but I think you would just reach that level that we've all got to, where we can really make a bad decision, where it builds up over time and you can't take it anymore. And I think that you shot at her because you were fed up and you were over it.
No.
Is that?
No.
No?
I absolutely feared for my life.
So this is,
This was an absolute, it's either me or her. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, holy shit.
But did you see her with a gun or another
No,
weapon or anything like
But
that?
I don't know what she had on the outside, you know, when my lights were off, you know, so she came up, it was dark out, and I'm like, great, now she's pounding on my door, now she's scaring the crap out of me, you know, now my door's moving, and I didn't have it properly secured, and the next thing I thought she was gonna be in my house, you know, killing me. I mean, that's honest to God what I felt. You know, it's not like, you know, I'm fed up or anything, this was a real fear.
But when we first started talking, you said you made it very clear to the 911 call taker that she was threatening to kill you.
Yes, absolutely.
And if that's not on the recording, is there any reason why that's not on the recording?
I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I said it, so.
Are you just pretty sure she said it as well? That she
Oh,
was
no,
gonna-
absolutely, she said it.
Okay.
She was absolutely, you know.
so the way that I see it is kind of like this. You have two things that you are looking at when you're in your position. You have this fear, this imminent fear of great bodily harm, death, serious injury, right? Imminent fear. Or you have, I'm in my apartment, I'm scared as shit, and I'm trying to scare someone off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you understand what the difference between those are?
No, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand, do you have this imminent fear that you're about to die? Or do you have this, I'm afraid of what's going to happen if this person doesn't go away? Does that make sense?
No, I felt like I was in imminent danger.
Okay. How would you define imminent danger? I just want to make sure that you because that's what the actual
Imminent
law.
danger, let's see, someone coming at you, a nice 4-ton truck, you know, straight
Okay.
at you, and, you know, they're swerving with you when you're trying to run away.
Okay. So, someone coming at you and you're this close to danger. Okay.
Now, the first time that you called 911, tonight or last night, at what point did you disconnect from the call? You called about, basically, the kids were in your area and you didn't want them there.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you disconnect with them?
They hung up with me. They said, someone's on the way, just keep your doors and windows locked. And I said, okay.
But Ajike wasn't there at that point?
No, she was not.
Okay. How long after you disconnected with them did she come over there, do you think?
I honestly thought it was you guys, someone banging on the door like that, because it felt, like really heavy bang bang, a guy doing it, and I was like, okay. There's a kind of shocked me, like, what the hell? And she started screaming, and then, it was just weird because I just thought she is just so angry, and she's just ranting and pounding, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, from the information I got, she was angry and pounding because she believed that you had either struck or attempted to strike one of her kids with an umbrella and threw roller skates. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, again, I know how kids can be. They're not always very truthful about things. But I didn't have any information provided me out there. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're still going through evidence, and that's an ongoing thing. But nothing that says that she threatened to kill you or that was doing anything more than trying to get you to come to the door. That she wanted you to open the door.
Why would I open my door to this woman? When she has
I wouldn't either.
When she has thrown things at me,
right.
When she has followed me a foot behind me, I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
I mean, she's literally come up. We had words about 2 months ago, and I walked away. I said, all right, whatever. And, I said, I'm sorry, just because I wanted to diffuse it, de-escalate everything. I'm walking away, and she's literally walking 1 foot behind me like she was, I said, oh my God, she's going to pound me into the ground.
So, yeah, I mean, that's my question, though, is if she wasn't trying to come in, she's just trying to get, and again, I wouldn't come to the door either. If you're baiting on my door or wanting to cause something, I'm not answering it. But that's different than trying to bust the door down.
To me, she was.
And you said that the door's already broken, so
yes.
How hard would it have been for her, because she's kind of a big girl, right? Mm-hmm. How hard would it have been for her to break that door knowing your own, your door better than I do, mm-hmm. But if it's already.
Well, we did put the extra long deadbolt in and everything. I did have the deadbolt on, so I didn't know how long the door was going to hold.
And that's why I'm asking is because at first it's broken and now it's super secure with an extra long deadbolt.
No, I'm just saying that we did put but if you look at it, everything's crumbling. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at the door, things are crumbling. I'm like, oh my God, my landlord is 76 years old, mm-hmm. And he jerry-rigged it. Literally jerry-rigged it. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's not, I don't feel secure. Every night I stick a chair under that door to keep, because I feel like someone's going to break it in.
When did you install the new deadbolt, or did he did that? Someone else did it?
Yeah, Charles did it.
Okay. How long ago was that?
He just, I'm trying to think when the hell he did it. A few months ago.
And what was the reason for that?
She had pounded on the door once before, and kind of everything that I had fixed previously, she had cracked apart. And I'm like, oh God. Like I said, it's not the first time.
What did she pound on the door for last time? What happened with that?
I think I called her kid an idiot or something like that. And I'm like, you see the signs. Stop coming over here. And he's like, I can do anything I want. I can just go in. And I'm like, oh my God. It's just.
And what did she do that time? She beat on the door? And
she beat on the door and I'm like, go away.
Did you call the police then?
We had called the police, and this when, she heard me calling the police, then she went away.
She went away. What was she trying to get you? Was she that
I
time?
have no idea. I have no idea what this woman is thinking. I mean, to me, she's just terrifying at this point in time. I just thought she is not mentally stable, and, every time something happens, oh, it's my children, and they're 100% little angels, and of course, you're demonized. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But was she trying to get in that time, or was she just beating on the door and ranting and raving about you calling her son an idiot?
I think she was ranting and raving about me calling him an idiot.
Okay,
And I'm like, all right, whatever, go away, you bother me.
okay.
But at that point in time, I had all the locks on, I had the chair up, like.
Did you get your gun that time?
No. I didn't feel, she wasn't as forceful that time as, this time was, like, oh my God.
And do you think the reason was because she believed that you threw something at her
I don't
kids,
know
or?
I have no idea what she was thinking.
Okay.
I can't even speculate. All I know is she's like, you screamed at my kids, or you said something to them, and then she's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm like, fine.
And if your camera does work, do you, you're confident that any video would back you up? Or and the reason I'm asking that is because this is the time, if there's any discrepancies, to clear that up now. And I'm just trying to be
I don't even know if
forthright with you
engaged.
on that. What's that?
I don't even know if it engaged, because the last time she was there at night, I tried to play and nothing came up.
Did you ever know her to carry a weapon or anything?
Do you? But you can't tell who.
No, you never know. That's
I was
right.
gonna say,
We have kids out here running around with firearms and stuff still. But I guess my question is, what is it that she did that made that an immediate threat to your life that you had to shoot when you did? Or you were gonna be harmed at
I
that
thought
second?
she was coming right through that damn door. I mean, this guy was my witness. I thought that one was coming through.
What
that
made you
door.
think that she was coming?
Because everything was shaking. I mean, my mirror that was on the wall was shaking. I'm like, how do you shake a cement block house? I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. That's why I thought,
So she was just beating, like,
Oh, she was wild with it. I mean, she was bam, bam.
what is your door made out of? Is it like a metal or like a, I'm not sure.
I have no idea. And I just was like, oh, dear God, I thought I was going to get my,
How long do you think she was hitting the door?
no, I can't even speculate, because it could have been seconds, it could have been, when you get that fear response, and, she banged on it. I was in the bathroom, came out of the bathroom, and she was still banging on it. So I don't know, maybe a minute or two.
Okay. And you didn't try to call 911 back at
But my
that
phone
point?
wasn't there. I didn't know where I put my phone.
You don't remember where
No.
you put your phone?
And I was like, crap, I can't find my phone.
So you have an app on your phone that lets you review the video
Yes.
for your surveillance camera? Would you be willing to be able to let us look at that?
I don't have a phone.
Well, no, we have it in the
Alright.
office
Okay.
over here, but.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Let me see what condition the battery's in, and I'll be back in just a
Okay.
moment, okay? Thank you. Susan? Looks like we got a little bit of juice in here. This is your phone, correct? Is it an Apple iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a passcode attached to it?
It faces.
Faces?
Yeah.
There's a numerical to it if you don't have your face?
Yes.
Do you mind providing that?
Yes, I do mind.
You do mind?
I'll open it for you, that's no problem.
Okay.
There's-
You said it was a face unlock deal? And you said it's a blink?
Yeah, like,
Is that what both of those cameras are? They both blink cameras?
okay.
Is that correct though?
I don't remember if one's blink and one's ring. I have to be brutally honest.
Okay, that's all
The
right.
two up front are blinks.
Okay.
It's gonna be front door.
Oh, so they both are, oh, you have a few of them? Okay.
That's why the kids were playing. They were so loud in the house.
think it might. Unless it was blocked.
It's a front. It'll say front door on it.
Okay. Okay. Now, did you delete any videos? No.
No.
Okay.
It's the first time.
I'm sorry?
It's the first time I looked at it since before.
Okay.
That's why I didn't touch it. Just let you have it.
So this is the only one. So this usually doesn't capture at night anyway, you say?
I have my TV on 75. You can
Still
hear them.
video.
Oh my God, they're ridiculous. Did you want to?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Just put it right here. Now, do you, again, this is not my decision how this plays out. This is a determination for the state attorney's office. But if it goes the way where you are released, which I said, like, I don't know, I have to talk to him, be 100% honest. Do you have family or someone that you could stay with if that's the case?
I was going to say I'm going to go get a hotel room. I'm not going to stay at my place tonight. I'll have to get the cats and take them with me.
All right, is there anything else that you can think of that I didn't ask or that might be helpful for figuring this all out?
I have to. I've never been in this situation before. This is all new and it's killing me.
Okay. All right. Susan, give me just a minute. Let me write.
Okay.
Following the initial interview with Susan Lorincz and the examination of her phone, which yielded no significant evidence, she was released after police consulted with the state attorney's office. This decision was made to allow for further investigation and gathering of evidence. As the case progressed, authorities found compelling evidence to support charges against Lorincz. The fact that Owens was unarmed at the time of the shooting, documented history of disputes between Lorincz and the neighborhood children, as well as witnesses reporting that Lorincz had allegedly made racial remarks to the children in the past, all pointed to a more complex situation than Lorincz's initial claim of self-defense. Based on this accumulation of evidence, Lorincz was ultimately charged with manslaughter with a firearm in the death of Ajike Owens. The case went to trial, where a jury deliberated for 2.5 hours before reaching a verdict. On August 16, 2024, Susan Lorincz was found guilty of manslaughter. This conviction carries a potential sentence of up to 30 years in prison. A sentencing date has not yet been set.